so you guys can ask your questions directly. I mean, say man, say wow. If you got something out of this call, drop a wow inside of the comments area there because it's amazing. Calvin said he got it. Thank you. It's great insights. Gal said wow. Um, Other people are typing in there. I mean, it's great stuff because the better questions you ask, the better performance you're going to get from someone. It's all in the questions that you ask. If a person get it there and realize you're just a newbie, you're not asking those right questions, they're going to try to get over on you really easier. So this is great. This is a great call. So I'm going to open it up for you guys. To basically ask questions directly with Michael. Anything else you want to share that's highly important at this point? Because I guess we could say it's at least 5 different phases that you're going to go through from the beginning, getting your survey and either possibly grading the property, your site plans, your architect, your zoning. That all goes in one. Then coming over to your mechanical, your electrical, your plumbing, making sure that's in place, framing, all that. And then the next phase. Now we're going into the drywall and all that. So it's at least 5 phases in this. You would say, how many phases would you say, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, just preliminary, yeah, half a dozen, and then the finishes might be 6 more phases. You know what I mean? Because then you got to figure out, okay, am I doing hardwood floors? Am I doing laminate? It's all depends on the client's budget. And if you're doing hardwood floors, okay, those gotta come in. You just gotta know, like, after a while what to do and what not to do. Like, okay, those materials, if it's hardwood floors, you gotta bring them into the property. They have to sit and actually acclimate to the temperature so that they don't, expand and contract. They don't just go pick it up at Home Depot and all right, we're putting it in today. No, that stuff's got to sit in there and acclimate to the interior temperature. Then they're gonna install the wood floors. Then you gotta, like, pick out, what color these wood floors gonna be. You know what I mean? Then the shower tiles, the floor. Are you gonna tile the bathroom? There's a bunch of phases inside. And then the plumber has to come back to do his finishes because he's ran all the water lines and there's a shut off there, right? So now from the shut off, he's got to put supply lines up to your faucet, supply line to your toilets, then your showers. The shower heads got to go in, the bathroom faucets got to go in. So there's all these finishes that have to happen. You know what I mean? Like, even before your bathroom faucets and your kitchen faucet, okay, the countertop guys got to come in. And then they got to know how many holes you need in this bathroom. Are you putting in one head with, just a handle on the side? Okay, I got to drill one hole.
Good point.
And where is that going to be? What's the size of the sink? So
Right.
there's stuff that you got to think of ahead of time for them to do in the now. Or, well, you're like, okay, well, I need 3 holes done because, I'm going to do a faucet with a left side, right side handle, and then the head of the faucet. So there's all these semantics
Yeah.
that have to go into your planning. So, and then the plumber comes back, and then the plumber says, okay, perfect. Yeah, you just got this one hole drilled. Boom, this is the faucet that you need to put in there. So it's all of this stuff. So there's so many more phases, when the house is almost to completion.
Wow. And I think that's the fun part when you start putting the cabinets in and all that. But it's important. Like one little mistake in that, like I say, the counters. I've learned this like from doing it. And I made big mistakes in the beginning. Like I remember doing the floors, and we hadn't even painted the room yet. So I
Oh,
made
that's
some
the
big
worst. That's
mistakes.
the worst. That's the worst. You know how many floors I've been on my hands and knees with that goo gone,
Yeah, and Google, I was trying to.
trying to get paint splatter off the floor because the
Yeah,
painter did. So I'm so big on that now that I already have, like, I go to Home Depot and I get the half a dozen
yeah,
poly coverings of 4x8s, and you roll it up. I already have it sitting there.
you're ready.
Tell them, everything needs to be covered. This entire floor needs to be covered. So,
Yeah,
like, when people unboxing stuff and I got cardboard sitting, I put that cardboard to the side because I'm gonna put all that stuff on the floors.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? While people are walking around, like there's still 20, 30 more people walking around after your floors get done.
Right.
And I don't want nail scratches and this and that. So it's a lot, but you had to go through it so that you know what to look out for. And if nobody's telling you that, then you're gonna lose a little money. Because guess
Yeah.
what? I had to get on my hands and knees and waste hours of trying to scrape paint splatter, or
Right.
there's a scratch. Now I got to call the floor guy back, and he loved when he get that call.
Yeah. It's another payment.
Oh,
Another.
I'm so sorry, somebody scratched it. Oh, send me a picture. Oh my goodness, that's terrible.
Right. When they
Oh,
touch their head like that, and you know they're
so terrible. Oh, that hurts. Yeah, that'll be $300. I can come do that tomorrow. You know what I mean? So,
right.
you know, we like to say we support our contractors, but I'm not trying to call you back because guess what? Nobody said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Robinson. I did that.
Yeah.
I scratched that." No, you
Yeah.
see that when you go back to your job site later and you're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, who did this?" Man, you hear crickets.
Yep.
Me no nothing. Who did
Right.
that? Not me. Guess who
Wow.
got to pay for it? You.
You
So
got to
you
pay
got to
for it.
learn all this stuff as you go, and nothing's ever going to be 100%.
Yeah.
But if you can rule out 90% of the headache, it's a big help.
Hundred
I
percent.
had a question for you.
Sure. Yep. Shoot.
When you do your projects, are you who's coordinating your jobs? Like, are you getting somebody to pull your permits for you, and then you couldn't coordinate the subs to go on, or you have a project manager that's coordinating all the intricate parts to keep the job rolling? You kind of understand the question?
So to put that question in context, because there's different answers to different scenarios, right? So in a new construction, I have a contractor that's going to pull the main permit, the building permit. And
Right.
that's when you see like a white box says construction permit box. And when when you open that box, the permit is in there. And then there's like
Right.
little checklists for when the inspector from the county is going to come out. He's going to say, "Hey, I checked, your foundation, it passed." Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now I can call the framers in and they can do what they do. So that's on your construction permit. That's from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
So now if I'm doing a rehab, I did one recently. It was in East Point, and I wanted to take all the black pipe out and put in PEX, CPVC. So new plumbing, new electrical. Well, you can have an expediter that can go and get those permits for you, but there's always a gray area. I'll be 100% transparent. You may do a rehab, right? Where you want to get in and out. Like I don't want to be stuck waiting for a permit for 2 months. I might be trying to finish that house in 2 months and have it on the market for sale. So I'll get my guys in. I might put some curtains in the window, and I tell them when you pull up, you go inside, lock the door, and do what
Yeah.
y'all gotta do. So I got that job done in 2 months, and I was out of there. You know what I mean? And the house went for sale, and in the first 30 days, it was under contract. So you got to know the area where you're rehabbing, and you
Mm-hmm.
can do things like that to get in and out. And I'll ask my roof guy, "Hey, I don't know, it's in DeKalb or it's Forsyth County or Cobb County, and do you got to pull a permit to put on the roof?" Yeah, we do. Okay, well, you go get it. And usually a roofing permit is like you go down and you pay the fee, you get it same day. That's not like, "Hey, I want to put in a new electrical panel," and
Right.
now the inspector's got to come out. "Hey, what are you doing? Where is it going to go? Where is the panel going to be?" You know what I mean? So you have to have all of that ironed out. And then guess what? They're going to come back and look at the electrician's work to green stamp you, before the power company is going to cut on the power. They're going to say, "Hey, we need a letter from the city, from the county. Did this pass inspection?" Because we ain't connecting you unless we got that. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
each scenario is always different. But with new construction, 100%, like you need a permit because watershed management is already looking at And now I think, what is it, City of Atlanta, they want you to bury a tank now. So you got to put, 100 gallons in the backyard. So all that rainwater that comes off the roof, there's a storage system there before it feeds into the main system, because there's so much construction, so much development. Now they do that so that their facilities are not overwhelmed. So every municipality is different, but I know DeKalb, you're in Florida, so there's going to be certain requirements for new construction in Florida that we may not have here in Georgia. So
Right.
And I gotta say, do that at your own risk on the weekends if you're trying to do the roof or whatever. But I've done it before, but you definitely want to know the area, and
I
know what the risks are. Know the area. What was that, Gail?
have a question.
Sure.
I don't know if it came up on the comments or whatever, but
Yes, it just popped it in there.
my-
Yeah, go ahead.
my question was, like, in my case, for this opportunity that's just landed in my lap, how exactly do I position myself? Like, would I position myself as a contractor, a project manager? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these people are like, we want you to help us do this. And I want to make sure that I am positioned correctly to be able to deliver and
yeah,
get
I mean,
get this.
the easiest way to protect yourself with, I'm not giving legal advice, I'm not an attorney, blah, blah, blah. But, if you don't have a GC license, then you can't present yourself as a contractor, right? So we can
Right.
check that off. We can't do that. But you can be a consultant. You're a
Okay.
construction consultant. So you can say, hey, I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to guide you through this. And you may guide them to the contractors, right? Because that's a big project. So, you need somebody who can do the survey. You need somebody who could, do the site plan that's familiar with that county, that when they turn in the site plan, there's not a lot of back and forth because they'll set up an online portal when you apply for that project to be done. And on that online portal, you've got all of the departments in the county that are looking at it. So the
Okay.
tree guy is going to say, wait, how many trees need to come down? I need to come out. You need to spray paint them. Like, let me see. Then they're going to say, are you backfilling the property? Do you need to fill some highs and lows? They're looking at the grading to see, okay, you're just moving some dirt around. That's cool. But wait, are you elevating this like 5-6 feet? Because then that runoff is going to affect the other people. And then the retention pond. Then they're going to say, okay, well, you want to do 50 townhomes or single families, whatever case may be, hypothetically. Okay, you're going to need a retention pond. It needs to be this big. And then I've seen them say, and the problem with the retention pond is that if you have to pour all the 4 walls and the basin concrete is like through the roof. Like, I feel like I'm calling like the Chanel store, like, about some, Hermes store, like, hey, I need how many yards of concrete you need. Like, they love
Right.
getting that call. I need 100 yards. Oh, whoo, let me get the
Right.
calculator, man. Whoo, that's a
Right.
lot. You know, So, but
It's
I've
like getting
seen
10 burgers.
projects.
Right. Spreading it.
I've seen projects where they pour the basin and they leave the walls. They reinforce the walls with rebar, but it still remains dirt. And then they'll do a hill for a boundary barrier, and then of course that has to get fenced in for security. And they'll say, okay, cool. The county will accept that. So you need people that are familiar with what on the site plan, what the county will accept, so that you're minimizing your costs. But yeah, you're a consultant, you're like, hey, I can walk you through all of this, because the issue there is that you have one main phase first. You have a vertical phase that needs to be done. And then the individual parcels, you got to put in curb, you've got to put in, asphalt. And then from there, you go vertical. So there's a ton of construction that has to go on, horizontally, they call it. And you got to find out who's going to finance that, because, it's not a problem to get vertical construction financing from a bank or from a lender. That's the easy part. Like, people will give you that, now you can negotiate and rate, from there, that can vary how much the interest rate is and how much on the points. But your vertical, you got to not everybody covers that. Like, your bank is not going to cover your horizontal cost. which is the clearance, the tree cutting, laying down sewer and water.
Mhm.
So, that's the first hurdle you got to get past. And so, yeah, you're a
Infrastructure.
consultant and you write up your contract and you get paid as you go. Don't wait for a paycheck at the end. You need a monthly paycheck as a progress, So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Perfect. Thank you. That I really needed that answer because I was kind of stuck. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. You got to get paid compensating for your time. Like you have a preliminary site plan. You can say, hey, you can look up at the size of the job and you can talk to guys who do site plans. And once his quote comes in, you say, hey, this is the one, like here's the baby that I made. This gives you an idea of what we've already agreed to. There's no back and forth. Like this is what we're trying to do. And then let him redo a master site plan that'll go to the county. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You can see what he charges and you can say, okay, well, I only need 20% of that. He might want 50 grand. So I guess what I did is at least worth 10. You know what I
Right.
mean? So you can kind of
Right.
gauge, what you can ask for without being too exorbitant, so to speak.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Wow, great stuff. Heavy hitters tonight. Wow. Hitting it. Telling you, man, that's great stuff. Like asking the best questions, better questions, going to get you better results every time. And we just really thank you, Michael, for hopping in here and sharing your expertise. And sharing it with the members. I mean, they're getting a lot out of it. I mean, you guys got to drop something in there like thank you. It's the statement, Mike, for hopping in here and sharing. Drop some thank yous inside of the comment section. We really appreciate you sharing your expertise because, this game in real estate, the quicker you can find data and information, the quicker you make money and ask the better questions. That's what it's really all about. So, any last questions for Michael before we end? Because kind of went over tonight, but it's good. It's good to go over sometime. Everybody's learning something new. Any? Go ahead. Somebody said something. So, any last remarks or anything, Michael, that you want to share with the members?
Yeah, I just, it's great to see like people absorbing, the information. I mean, I want, everybody's in like 3 different lanes. Um, and matter of fact, for Ernst, I remember he said something about where he was that you can only do one wholesale deal a year. Is that right?
Yes, in Illinois, they passed a law in 2019. You can only do one wholesale one wholesale deal every 12 months.
Okay, so here's some gems I'm gonna give you. Now, Antonio, he's the master, but I'm gonna throw this out as food for thought.
Before it.
You can do a double closing with transactional funding so that you know you can pass it from one LLC to another, pass the contract. So there's no
Hmm.
limit to how many LLCs you can have. I can have 123
Oh,
Main Street. I
yeah,
can have,
yeah. I didn't think about that. Thank you. I didn't think about that. Thanks. Yeah.
maybe you can only do one wholesale under one LLC a year. You can go on the, .gov, state.gov and register 4 LLCs if you think you can do 4. You can do that tonight. You get something under contract. That don't mean stop getting stuff under contract. Get it under contract. And then guess what? I'm gonna go tonight. I'm gonna do, Food for Thought LLC, and then I'm gonna I'm gonna go get that contract signed tomorrow under Food for Thought LLC. And then
Yeah,
if I
that's an excellent idea. Thank you. Yeah, because I did not think of that, but you're absolutely right. Yeah.
and, and that might be the gray area that people are already doing, So that's
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, man. Thank you for sharing that because sometimes when you stuff like that, once you know how LLCs work, you can do it that way. And I'm sure there's other
Mhm.
wholesalers doing that in the area. So look into it. That's awesome, Michael.
Oh, I
Good thing.
definitely will. Thanks a lot.
So just by hopping on the call, you got something new to think about there. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, because I know a lot of wholesalers send me stuff. They send Michael stuff, anybody, and a lot of them are doing that in some of those areas where the laws have changed, and toward wholesaling in those areas. But there's always another loophole. Sometimes, even in Georgia, when they have a problem closing, we can do transactional funding to some wholesalers, and they can still get the deal done. So there's always a way to get the deal done. So yeah, so that's hot. So yeah, everybody said thank you so much, Michael. Gail said thanks a ton. Great stuff. I mean, great stuff tonight. I'm really excited. Go back and watch this call over all the way over again, because so many gems have been dropped. You really got a blueprint for new construction, somewhere to start, a place to ask better questions so that you get better quality results from your contractors and everything. So that's amazing. So thank you again, Michael, for hopping in here. Really greatly appreciate it.
Yep, anytime. Thank you, guys.
All right. So yeah, make sure you guys register for next Thursday night. We're live again with the Section 8 King over here. It's gonna be a live call, and make sure that if you're not already on, I think those spots, just open up one more spot. If you're a new member, just on the call outside of that, make sure you register for a one-on-one call with me for the next one coming up. So until next Thursday, continue to win and throw it up. I'll see you guys next Thursday. All right, let's go. Hey, come on.